So this one is called the corporate life cycle. And one of the follow-up that came out of the last session was, I shared that in the corporate innovation team, you have basically two teams, the green team and the blue team, right? With the blue team being more exploration kind of innovation, and then the green team is efficiency, exploitation kind of focus. Uh, the blue team is all about trying to find new things, and then the green team is about optimizing the existing things that we know we are doing really well already. One of the biggest comments that we've had, discussion that we've had when you talk about this is a lot of time people say, hey, look, when we're investing, especially in a corporate environment, we want to be sure. We want to be make sure that we have return on investment. We can't invest a lot of money if we don't have certainty, right? And for this one, I always think about when people talk about this. I always think about the one quote that people say, in the company, be entrepreneurial, treat your money, treat the corporate company's money like your own. When we talk about corporate innovation, I want to flip that around a little bit, because if you kind of flip things around and say, hey, in the company, you only want to invest in the sure thing. Um, we don't want to take high risk, high reward. We want low risk and be sure. We're okay with low return. It's kind of like saying that all I want to do is put money in the bank. I want to make sure that I'm low risk, low return, right? Low risk, you put money in the bank, and then your future is basically just dependent on the bank interest rate. We don't do that, right? I mean, I'd be willing to bet that most of us have some other form of investment. Maybe we buy shares and more volatile. Maybe if we're a little bit more daring, we buy shares in the tech company, the medical company, and things like that. And then um, maybe we buy into the blockchain, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, um, and things like that. But you don't spend all your money on that. But you just spend a little bit. I mean, you know how this works. And then sometimes you buy a lottery. I mean, you don't spend all your money buying a lottery. You buy a little bit just, in case, hey, you get lucky. It's the same here. All I'm saying is just spread your risk and reward. Don't put everything in the green. And you'd be surprised actually when companies have got, net margin like billions of dollars, and it's really challenging for many companies to put even 1% of, or even 0.5% of their revenues into something like this. It's the same as you spend, putting a little bit of money into Bitcoin, or buying the lottery, or the more riskier but higher, potentially higher reward options. So just trying to find that balance. I thought I'd throw that out there. Also, I thought it'd be interesting. So this is just a representation, right? If you're in exploration phase, you're not sure what the market is like. You're not sure what the solution is like. So you try a lot of things. You look on the left hand side there. There's a lot of squiggly line, try and error. A lot of things return coming back to the way you were before. But after a while, hopefully, you would have learned a lot. You would have picked up what users and what customers really like, and then you basically just say, hey, no more messing around. Let's just focus now. We know what's needed. Let's streamline this, make it faster, uh, cheaper, and then put it out there in the market and make sure that we can replicate this globally. So the left hand side and the right hand side. What I thought would be interesting was to put this into perspective, right? If you're in any company, be it a startup or corporate, company, if you're a company that's been around for a long time, hundreds of years, right? At some point in your company's history, your founder or a group of people would have been the one to come up with a good idea, and they would have been the one to do all the exploration, right? And then at some point again, they would have figured out what needed to be done. If you're in the, there's a lot of oil and gas industries, like John D. Rockefeller, or if you're thinking about Netflix, it's like Reed Hastings. Um, there's a lot of volatility in the beginning, right? And then once you figure out what needs to be done, um, you optimize. So you shift from the left hand side here, over onto the right hand side, and um, you become established corporation over on this side here. I thought it'd be interesting to use Netflix as an example, because it's a great example because it's still around. So if you look think about Netflix, couple of maybe a decade ago on the over a decade ago on the left hand side there, streaming. It tried DVD, it tried streaming. People call retesting crazy, and then now it's kind of an established corporation over here on the Green Star, where the Green Star is, right? Right now, what's happening in this space? Once you're in this space, there is Disney Plus, there's Apple, there is all sorts of competition coming now, right? Because everybody's doing the same thing now. It's established, and then there's risk of death and disruption. So what does Netflix, or in fact any corporation, need to do is it needs to go back to the beginning. It needs to have that exploration team again. And coincidentally, if you are a Netflix subscriber this week, you would have seen, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you would have seen that they have 5 games out right now. Because if you think about Netflix, Netflix is not a movie company. Netflix is a company about killing time, right? I think you've heard Reese Hastings say that the number one enemy of Netflix is sleep. So right now there is pretty simple games, 5 simple games out by Netflix, and they're exploring a couple of things. And if you look at Netflix, they've been doing this for the past couple of years now. They had that whole movie kind of like Choose Your Own Adventure. They're trying to find now what is the next growth thing for them, and they obviously, again, they've got 2 things going. They've got the streaming business hasn't stopped. That's still their number one revenue generator. But they've got a couple of small little experiments going on. If 2 things are going to happen with the games, right? They're going to take the stats, and they're going to find that a lot of people like Jack Chris is now watching less movie and maybe spending more time on games. Maybe that's worth for them now to invest more time in the gaming industry. So when you look at this, the reason I use Netflix also is when you look at this and you think about the culture, right? There's this book now that everybody wants to read. No rules, Netflix and the culture, a great culture. Everybody wants to be able to do whatever they want. There's a video that I'm going to show you guys at the end of this, just as a closeout, that I think will surprise some of you. Hopefully not too much, but yeah, about what it looks like when Netflix was in that tumultuous time when they're trying to find out what's going on, when they're doing a lot of exploration. But that's it for me today. So the video is going to be right after this, but until I see you guys again next time, thank you. Any comments or thoughts or what you guys want to hear, let me know. Thanks. Bye-bye. So here's the video from CNET from way back around 2013, so almost a decade ago. I'm only going to play a little bit of it just to make sure I don't get into any copyright trouble. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Bridget Carey with CNET, here with senior writer Greg Sandoval, who covers Netflix. And it's been a year since the insanity around Netflix's price hikes and the Quickster spinoff. Now, you've talked to employees, both past and present, to give us a look into what went on behind the scenes during this train wreck and at a once beloved tech company. So how was it like getting people to talk to you about this?
I've been covering this beat for 6 years, and I've never had anybody give me anything. Any information, inside information, anything like that about the company until now. Lots and lots of workers are angry at Reed Hastings.
That's it, guys. So just follow the QR code for the full video and find out why people were angry at Reed Hastings. Thanks.